Hi everyone, this is the Padel Podcast, and this one is a quick recap of the Miami P1. I will be talking about the men's finals, semifinals, just a bit of which team did really well, which was a bit of a surprise. And also on the ladies' side as well, I will touch on what has happened, but I just wanted to do a quick recap video about what is going on, and it was a great tournament. It is the Paddle Week, the Racket Sports Week in Miami, with the Miami Masters as well taking place. The Masters 1000 tennis tournament with a lot of really surprising results, and also we have the RacquetX going on at the moment, which started yesterday and is still going strong as well. Obviously, a lot of great people are there, a lot of paddle friends, a lot of paddle celebrities, and all that. So yeah, it has been a really interesting week, and it keeps on evolving. Which was a bit of a surprise for me that it was in the Miami Convention Center. So it was indoors, and obviously it was a lot more sort of, so there wasn't any issue with the weather. Not that there is a lot in Miami, although when I say this, lately there has been some issues, as well as in Spain, all that. I spoke to Alex Pensetti this week, and he was saying Barcelona isn't really getting that great of a weather, so he's like really happy that now he's in Miami as well. Obviously, don't forget about the Padel Summit, which will happen in Barcelona in May, from the 27th till the 29th. It will be a great initiative, great expo. So yeah, definitely don't forget about that. But without further ado, let's talk about the final, and I will go backwards from there. So well, it wasn't the final which I was expecting. I felt like Chingotto really played a massive part. He became the MVP. Um, yeah, he sort of pulled off Djokovic. So he literally didn't want to miss. So whatever he did, the blocks and all that, it was amazing. The other thing which was working really well, that was for Stupa and Lebron, because I haven't obviously said that the final was Stupa and Lebron against Galan, so Chingotto and Ale Galan. And it was 6-1, 7-6 to Galan and Chingotto. I was a bit disappointed, I have to say. I felt like Stupa and LeBron started to play from the second set onwards. In the first set, they started really slowly. They were really complacent. They didn't really move their feet that well. And it was mostly from LeBron. I felt like Stupa was playing okay. LeBron wasn't really in the races. You could feel the tension from the ex-partners, who's obviously LeBron and Galan. So you could feel that there's a lot of tension going on, which is a shame. What can I say? There's not much which I can say about it. It is what it is. Great guys, great characters. I said it many times on the podcast that I would love to have them back as a pair, but when Chingalan is winning a P1, yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, and it was it was a little bit of an unreal final for many, because Coelho and Tapia hardly ever lose a paddle match. But I will talk about the semis as well. But before I do, so yeah, Chingotto was playing flawless. He literally didn't do anything wrong. Like all his bandejas and vibras were really spot on. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of winners, but there was a lot of amazing shots from him, and he was just solid as a rock. And Galan's smash was really working. He found something out on where he should be hitting the ball, and he was hitting these amazing flying and jumping smashes cross court, and he could just find the space. And usually LeBron and Stupa is really good with getting those back, but not today. Today they were struggling a lot with those, and I think if I would have to name one reason why they lost this match is that they couldn't really lob over Galan that well, or Galan was just too aggressive and he was getting everything back. So yeah, it was. Look, it wasn't a really amazing final, but it was obviously quite a good spectacle. It was great to see a new pair in the final, which in a way was Stupa Lebron, but it's more like for a P1 because obviously they just came off the Cancun P2 against Tolito and Gonza Alfonso. But yeah, so um, yeah, I felt like yeah, because LeBron and Stupa are my favorite pair. I just felt a little bit deflated watching the match because they were always under the cosh. So it didn't matter that they started serving first in the second set. They just couldn't get going. There were some amazing shots, and as I say, the Bahada was working really well for them. But apart from that, it was well, not the best. So yeah, it is what it is. Obviously, massive congratulations to Galan and Chingotto. They are back to winning ways, and they started again for their quest for the world number one, which is a million miles away for them. But you have to start somewhere. I feel like this year so far, LeBron and Stupa has been the best pair. And it's not just because of the Cancun and it's not just because of their Riyadh final. I felt like they were the most consistent so far. Obviously, Coelho Tapia is a little bit of a different league, but to be fair, if we look at it on terms of the race, LeBron and Stupa are ahead of them, but we're talking about four tournaments, and literally three of these were, I mean, literally the two P1s were attended by older players, but yes. And yeah, I wanted to talk about two things about the ending of the final. The handshake was really, really, really cold. They hardly touched. It's just against everything what we know about paddle. Um, it is. Yeah, it wasn't a great moment, but we know that LeBron is a bit of a weird guy, and when it comes to holding grudges, I think he's like the most controversial player ever to play paddle, and he's one of the best ever, so he might be considered the GOAT. There was a really interesting topic on one of the live coverages of this Miami, if like in their primes, who's the GOAT? And LeBron is obviously one of them. So what the question was, who's the best player when it's their prime? Tapia, Coelho, Galan, and LeBron. Please leave a comment below if you wanna definitely put your favorite down there. I'm not gonna say who I think it is. It's so close, and all four are great for different reasons. So yeah, what I would say about the finals. So yeah, the handshake was really, really cold, really not personal. But even with Stupa, I didn't feel like it was the same sort of feel as yesterday's semis. And it's just against LeBron, and Stupa is a lovely guy. LeBron, he is what he is. Um, and about the semis, and then I will just say sort of like a quick recap about the Miami P1. So the semis were one was an epic final set tiebreak to Galan against Koki Nieto and Mike Yanguas. I felt like those guys are now literally on the verge of becoming. They will be in the semis most of the time, but they can even go higher. They had an unbelievably good match against Teo and Libak, which was also great to see. Tino Libak is just unreal. We have spoken about it with my friends about how Libak is an unbelievable player. And I think Teo, I mean, he had some physical issues, so because of that, they had to pretty much give up at like 3-love. They were 3-love up, and from then on in, they haven't won a lot of games. So it was 7-6, 6-7, 6-4 to Koki Nieto and Mike Yanguas. And what I just wanted to say about Koki, he's like this old school paddle player who's not hitting massive, but he's just not gonna miss, and he's so physical. He's such an unbelievable athlete. It was great to see. Obviously, Mike Yanguas is a really aggressive and positive right side player. And look, I'm not saying that Koki isn't a positive player, because his Vibras are amazing, and I think like he's an unbelievable player. Full stop. He's one of my favorites. He didn't just become a favorite overnight. When I've seen him play with Coelho, that was just in the World Cup final. It was just another level. And the other semi where Coelho and Tapia lost, I would possibly to obviously Lebron and Stupaczuk. I felt like Tapia is definitely having some sort of injury. I haven't read anything about it, but to be fair, when I've seen all the taping on his hand and all over the place, I just felt like something was off. And also, he couldn't really hit his signature overheads, so there wasn't that many portraits or just a big kick smash. It was a little bit complacent, I would say. So it was really strange. I would possibly say, apart from the four pairs which I mentioned, but Tapia and Coelho, you won a bit more. Yanguas and Koki, they were so close, like unbelievably close of beating Chingalan. It was great to see Dinano Garrido do well, and it was really great to see, as I said, Libak and Teo do well. Galan and Stupa beat Cardona and Augsburger, which is also a great result for them. It was a fairly easy 6-4, 6-4. If they could have replicated that in the final, I think that sort of performance, I think they would have done really well. They won the semi as well against Coelho and Tapia 6-4, 6-4. It was a little bit erratic in the semi. But against Augsburger and Liebach, Augsburger, and that's just their old pairing. So Augsburger and Cardona, I felt like they were really spot on. They were hitting amazing. And one more thing about what I felt in the semifinal with Stupa and Lebron is that they started so unbelievable. Like their Chiquitas to the fence, both of them were absolutely unreal. So yeah, they sort of gave a really nice touch to this. So yeah, I liked the Miami P1. I have to say, I think it was a great tournament in many ways, and I feel like it was something which was much needed for Padel. Because now they're back on court. Now, obviously, they can talk about the solutions and whatnot. So that's great to see, and they're flying to Santiago, if I'm not mistaken. So that will be also a P1. So yeah, and lastly, because my good friend Gary Fenton just said that I should be talking about the ladies. Massive congratulations to Delfina Brea and Gemma Triai. I think Delphi was robbed of the MVP award, but look, she's not gonna mind, because obviously now they're really showing what they're about, and they just won back-to-back tournaments, because they won Cancun as well. So I can say that they are definitely on that trail, which I was wishing for them, and which I was thinking they will do. They can definitely challenge for the world number one. I think that was a good move from Delphi. Possibly she's, again, when I'm just talking about favorites, she might be my favorite player. She's just when I've seen her on the World Cup as well, she was playing on the left, and she was still amazing on the left. So she's in a way ambidextrous. She's not, but you know what I mean. She can play both sides. And yeah, so Ari Sanchez and Paula Jose Maria played the final. It was a three-setter. It was a great final, as they all are in the women's. And sort of like a theme is coming up with Claudia Fernandez and Bea Gonzalez was in the semi. They lost to Sanchez and Jose Maria. And Martita Ortega and Sofia Araujo was also in the semis, and they lost to Brea and Triay, as they did in Cancun as well. So all in all, it was great to see Bella as the tournament director. I also wanted to talk about a little bit of the anglicized interviews, which are still lacking. I mean, if you ask Paquito or Mike Yanguas, they can definitely give interviews, like proper deep interviews in English. But unfortunately, Galan and Chingotto tried. They had a bit, but it wasn't as smooth as you might expect. So yes, that's about it from me. It was just over 15-16 minutes what I was talking about. Please do follow the Padel Podcast here on YouTube, also on Spotify, on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and on TikTok and Instagram. Give me a subscribe and follow if you ask for notifications. That is also helping my job. So please stay tuned and check out Alex Pensetti's last week's. It was actually published today. So yeah, there's a video today about Alex Pensetti. And stay tuned. And thank you very much for being here. And please play some paddle.